Longest minute. You stare at it long enough, it never changes. Oh, I hope not.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm tired of hearing my own voice. I'm the dummy that keeps saying it.
Trying to get across to us.
Here we go. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order and ask if there's disclosure of interest. If there is not, I have a resolution moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there any additions or changes? All in favor? Oh, there was?
Yes, there is an addition. It's report, it's under number 10 under reports of municipal officers, report 2024.122 regarding Schedule J of the subdivision agreement.
Righty. That was one addition to it. Anything else? Motion, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We now resolve to go into closed session. It has been moved and seconded to go into closed session, the time being 5 p.m. Perfect. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We'll now go into closed session. Motion has been made to, moved and seconded to reconvene the council meeting, the time being 5:40 PM. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We now have a resolution moved and seconded to accept the minutes of the closed session meeting held on May the 29th. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next item is the resolution approving the minutes of the council meeting held on May 29th. It's been moved and seconded. Were there any errors or omissions? As there was none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Any discussion on any of the items in the above minutes? None? Okay. First item we have is the bylaw enforcement report. For your information, this was May 2024. If there was any items you had questions on? No? Okay. Next item we have is the minutes of the Fire and Emergency Services meeting that was held on April the 16th and May the 15th for your information. Is there any questions you had for the fire chief on any of those meetings? No. Okay, the next item we have is the draft cemetery bylaw. It's been moved and seconded. A resolution has been moved and seconded to recommend that the draft cemetery bylaw be approved. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Any discussion on the bylaw? Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. Is there any cost involved to disinter? I'm presuming that would be in a schedule of fees, but I didn't see it as a line item in the schedule of fees. So just wondered, because a number of times it's mentioned disinterment. So just wondered if there is a cost associated to that.
I don't think we have one on our bylaw, our fee bylaw, so the answer would be no.
And
Can't recall one happening.
okay. And another question, or just a comment perhaps for 2025 budget. Should we not be maybe looking at ordering another niche wall for the cemetery? I don't know how much of a demand there has been for sites.
At a recent cemetery meeting, the columbarium space came up, and I think that about half of the units are still there, which means there's about 17 or 18 niches left. That's what I recall. It is somewhere in that neighborhood. So it's about half full, the one we have now. It's something that could be brought up with the cemetery board at a meeting this year.
One other comment I had, it says in here that we have to ensure that the people who are like Lakehead Monument or whatever, we have to ensure that they have WSIB. How do we ensure that that is covered?
You just ask them.
Okay.
They can give you a certificate of insurance. It's easy for them to get it. You just get it online if you've got employees.
Okay. And it doesn't indicate on page 71, it says up to 2 cremated remains in a columbarium niche. I'm just wondering if you know the size, because past experience has me wondering. In a different cemetery, we had to ensure that the urn that we had would fit 2. We had 2 urns, and they would not fit in the niche wall that we had purchased. So we had to then change plans. So just a heads up to the people if they're purchasing a niche plot that we ensure that they know the size. Because
It's up to them to ask.
yeah, and it's not something that you would think to ask until it happens to you, and then it's disappointing.
That's the point, no.
Any other items? Okay, so that was for your information. Oh, sorry, there was a resolution. I'm looking at the other one. Any more questions? Okay, the resolution's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Then we have the monthly planning report on page 83, and our planner is here. So if there's any questions in regards to this. Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. Just wondering if we've changed the way things are done, or why is it that now this is the third or fourth consent that had previously been granted that has come back to us again to be reapplied for?
Yeah, because sometimes they don't meet the time.
The
Or-
lawyers in this case failed to register
Lawyer.
the land properly.
Yeah.
So it's, the lawyers are paying for it.
Oh, yes, they have to. They didn't do their job well.
That'll do it. And with regard to B 1024, that property, it looks like the railway track is just north of the proposed lot, correct?
Mhm, yes.
Okay, and then, so if it's in the official plan, it shows environmental protection and natural resources. How does that get like, does the Conservation Authority then have to comment on that property, or
The
is there a
conservation,
big enough building envelope to ensure that any building is far enough away from the railroad and things like that?
the Conservation Authority comments on every application for planning. So they'll provide comment and we'll go from there.
Okay.
And if I may,
Yes.
when I read that, I said, when I looked at the map here, it's only in a very small area. How much, will they have enough room to build a house when there's environmental protection, there's not resources, there's wetland, there's the whole thing?
Mhm.
Who makes that decision?
Conservation Authority will be there, and the health
Okay.
unit does it for the sewage system. They come and make sure that there's enough room for that.
You know, because the
Well,
railroad track, too, remember that people in coal line, they had a terrible time building there, they had, finally ended up with a narrow house or something, wasn't that to that extent, so that they had enough space between the railroad track?
Yeah.
There was, I can't remember completely, but there's some issues there.
Through the chair in that particular instance, they were told prior to buying that they had to stay 75 meters away from the railway track.
Yeah.
And it was occupied.
Is that provincial standard?
Yes, it is. It's a railway standard.
Oh, so then that will fall in the same category here.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, as long as it's all covered, that's the only
Yeah.
thing, but maybe people need to know that. I guess it'd be sad if something happened and then they found out, uh-oh. So I guess Gary, maybe make sure to tell those people. that-
They do know. Yep.
Okay, any other questions on the planning report? Anything that you had to bring forward to us, Carrie?
Nothing at this time, no.
Nothing? Okay. So we have an application. You did not require comment from us on these?
I do, yes.
You did? Okay. So the first one? Pardon? Okay. Is there any comment? No comment? So we have a resolution moved and seconded that there is no comment, or no concerns, I should say.
Yeah,
on that
we're talking
one.
about the San Diego Park,
Yes,
right? Yeah,
yes.
well,
No
long as it's
concerns.
involved in regulations and,
Yeah. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then the next one is the three applications,
It's just one now.
but it's one now.
Yep.
Originally, there were three, and then there's one that was unfortunately failed to be registered. So is our comment again, no concerns?
Can I ask a question
Yes.
on that, if I may? Is that all of the Postuma Farm? Did that go from the Ralston Road to Line Road and all, isn't that all on the same property?
No.
It's not.
No, the farmland is made up the lot addition that originally happened onto the properties abutting Blind Line on the north side there.
Right?
The farm remains. We didn't touch the farm. Other than that lot addition, just to add enough land for them to sever.
Okay, I just, yeah, I can go around there and I'm looking at all these splits and I thought, wait a minute, isn't that all one?
No, 3 lot additions and then 2 new lots.
Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. Just had a question with regard to that same property. Did a building permit not already be approved for that? Building permit number 1024 in April of this year? they own the property prior to the permit being issued?
They do own the property. They own part 2. We have to add part 4. That's it's a mortgage issue. It's not a building issue. They own the land. The land is available for them to build on.
Okay.
It's just a legal component on the back end.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? So we have a resolution moved and seconded that says we have no concerns. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Anything else? Nothing else, Carrie?
No, nothing. Thank you.
All righty. Then we have our building department report, which is again must be the cost of construction because it certainly is high. We are at over $7 million just over $7 million. Almost exactly where we were in 2023 at this time. So yes, Councillor Peacock?
Sorry, I should have let you finish that question, but I just have a concern. In June of 2022, a corporate report 2022.126 with regard to the Cooper Road building permit and municipal road frontage, it was presented to a previous council and a recorded vote was called for. Approval was given as long as the road was brought up to municipal standards. At that time, the report indicated an 11,000 square foot warehouse. So has that 150 meters now been brought up to municipal standards?
Through the chair, no, they won't get occupancy until it's done.
Yeah.
Part of that original report.
Yes.
So
Okay.
in May 14th of 2024, just 2 meetings ago, Cooper Road subdivision was given draft approval on lands known as Lot 7, Concession 1 and 2, with 16 conditions and notes. Site plan control on all lots was just one of the requirements. The next day, the building permit is issued for 1.5 million, and it was approved. And were any of the conditions met for this draft approval and completed prior to the permit being issued?
Well, that permit was on a building that we already had approved, that one piece of road, that little section of road. As long as that was up to standards, then they would get an occupancy permit.
But that's part of that same plan of subdivision, is it not?
That was
That
separate.
corner lot?
It is part of the plan of subdivision, but it was this particular building was approved prior.
Yes.
So if they decided to build something additional, then the other conditions would potentially come into play.
So the conditions that we approved on May 14th don't affect this lot?
They affect the lot, they don't affect this building because it was pre-approved. Conditional on the extension of the road.
Just seems to be cart before the horse, that's all. We have requirements that we've set out. It's been a long process for both parties, whether it be us or the applicant. But it just seems the process is lost a bit there. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions about the report? None? Okay. The next item we have is the housekeeping amendment number 5. And again, it's page 111 and 112. And if you have any questions in regards to this, Carrie will be here to answer them. This is just to clarify it and make it much easier to.
That's correct.
Yes.
And the actual report will come to a public meeting July 16th.
Okay. So any questions of the planner in regards to this? Yes,
I'll just have a comment. I see everything's now in square meters, so you have to convert everything in your head, I guess, to
Yeah.
to make it. So you multiply it by 10.75 and you get
you just go to this here and you go on and say convert to, and it does it.
Yeah, 10.75.
So that's the way the world is now
I
here
know,
in
I
Canada.
sent the thing back there a couple weeks ago. I say, can we get it? But I guess that's not gonna happen.
That's not,
Any realistic,
The notice goes in the newspaper costly,
it is, but we have to put that in, that
Hmm.
it does cost.
reviewing the entire official plan.
Issue.
Mhm.
So you want to clear it up.
Did it.
The public meeting. in July.
I don't know.
Yeah. So Import 2024-122 with the cost part of this subdivision agreement. So is there any questions on this agreement? Or
I'm where these pieces of property are and I've been through there. Part of Whitewater, identify the infrastructure, the road infrastructure, that was just, basically a rubber stamp of or do we have an opportunity to potentially to try and mitigate some of the challenges that have been brought up in the past?
Infrastructure where that road is, where the ditch would be in the northerly issues in regards to road width in that area, where they might want a white line from end to end for a pay minimum lane widths. But this, where the cul-de-sac is, south of the fourth house down, case where the issues have been presented, it's not a through road as the rest of it is.
Just wondering, why is it King George's up that way, but
developer can call them. Anything else?
They have to do with that, but, school board got
Are posted, it's the only division where the numbers were always place size and all the developers are going through with the same. To the original condos developed double driveways, it would just be, I believe is the specification on each front of each house. I think it was to keep the sight lines clear in the original 2003 agreement.
and help. The only agreement we have with people in that. Thank you.
Councillor Peacock?
thank you, sir. No,
So they're posted on the buildings and we can see them. We haven't.
Okay, anything further? Or, sorry, this, yes. All in favor? 24, and it's a resolution. Any questions?
So when we get 73,000 stuff,
There's discussions as to the value and everything was in the, was an entry with no funding formula.
we gotta find 72,000.
Yeah.
How much? And that's all the time.
It was discussed at our budget meeting as brought forth with Council Provincial Government. We can do that, but then whatever that 300 roads or we'll have to commit.
I believe the OCIF is over 400.
400,000.
Okay.
It's not pre.
Are getting something of value for this investment that no one else in the municipality is. So, I mean, at least some of these to be going to the residents that are on the system.
Regards to this particular item, and it's going to take a clear direction of council, how we proceed with the system.
Councillor Peacock?
the 2024 budget, it was $562,301. That's what's in the budget.
Let's up this project in our location.
Yes. To be closing or stopping or moving. I've already done it this week. So fall at the earliest.
Out, so people had a chance to do it for this construction season. So maybe out soon.
I haven't heard anyways.
Still working with all levels of government. 3 capital projects were funded through.
Yeah.
Other than the Roslyn Road water main work was grant.
Right.
The road that ever uses was taxpayer money. It's different. I agree with that term. But again, it's going to take a full flavor of council as to how it goes forward.
Bert, you had your hand up?
Yeah,
Oh.
no, I'm just, if the money is there, we'll
Councillor Peacock and then Councillor.
One other note on here is that if improvements to the water quality, a separate will be tendered to enclose the CCAN under a completed roof and wall envelope. Idea on a ballpark figure on that.
Through the chair, yes, 60 days to potentially get grant. What the building envelope costs will be, we're not clad steel siding and the common roof frame on top of it.
That's right.
So involve a general contractor, it's specific electrical and plumbing.
Mhm.
Hence maybe an opportunity for my staff, maybe come up with a engineered roof design, will tie into the existing structure. The new electrical work will have a heater, meter system and a new electrical system. And you may see an effort from Public Works and vapor barrier and insulate the outside of that building, or maybe on the inside with spray foam. We have to see the configuration has been left to the vendor to decide which valve goes where, and the engineer drawing is a mechanical drawing. And it will work in regards to the whole thing fitting inside the CCAN, what the make and the timing when this all falls together at this point.
Okay, and Councillor Campoff?
We proposed timeline from, like, when are we looking at getting this done?
So as Wayne has said, we are pursuing other, it's included in one of our existing grant applications. We are At the pre-tender site visit, there was some concern about some of the specific pumps in regards to their timelines. Could be up to 60 days. We have, again, as the report says, we have not received confirmation from the MOECP that our license will be amended with this process. So we're actively pursuing that. We're actively working with this. If it's awarded tonight, that'll give administration permission to start talking to the lowest vendor to see what we can and can't do in regards to maybe various other options in regards to the specific pump that was tendered.
Okay, so we have still not have approval from the Ministry of Environment.
True, through the chair, we do not have permission to proceed with this project at this time, but we need to instigate the contract to this. All of these vendors have contacted us since this closed. If we are low, we need to know because we're pricing other work.
Yeah,
See that?
The long lead items will be addressed by administration upon award tonight. And we will start talking to the successful low vendor, if that's who gets chosen, to see if there's other options in regards to timing and parts procurement that if the MOE came to the table in the next 30 days, we need to award this so we can proceed with the best possible cost going forward.
okay, so now we have a decision. Do you want to go with this? What discussion was at budget time to go with a loan?
Well, there were a few discussions.
There are a few, yeah. There's a loan or using the grant money, or what is your thoughts? Yes,
But I don't think you need to decide how to fund it this evening,
just decide who's
award.
going to have the job.
Yeah.
Yes, because it has to be done.
Man, we should have
Yeah.
Jack my thought.
Yeah.
Let the award this, it has to be done.
Yes.
Get on with it, and then we can discuss later on where, how, and what, why.
We can get a report, some, yeah,
It has to be done, so.
That's
we'll
right.
Find out somewhere, we'll hope for staff to come up with some suggestions to us to look at it. So
perfect.
I'm all for it.
Okay, so we have a resolution that's been moved in second, giving the job to Ava Lanou Mechanical Limited. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Then, was there anything from the fire department for this meeting? No. Anything further, Chris, from yourself to us at this meeting?
Through the chair note, we're good. Roslyn is got some driveways to finish up and we're moving over to Kekabeka for the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay,
And we've been trying to cut grass when it doesn't rain. And when it doesn't rain, we tend to go at it as hard as we can and get as much as we can done, but it's been a challenge so far this
Yes.
year.
I know, yes. Alrighty, so the next thing, reports of committees, was the minutes from the Lakewood Regional Conservation Authority. Under the mayor's report, it's not written in here, but at the last Legion meeting, there was a discussion of buying new wreaths for Remembrance Day because the ones they have are rather getting older. And the one that I put down every year, it has the band, but it doesn't have Oliver Papoons written on it. So I asked if I could get that on there, and I said we would pay for it. I think they were talking about $50 to $100 to get that engraved on that band. So I'm just giving you a heads up that you may be getting that coming to us sometime this summer. They'll buy the wreath, but they just, if I want to have our name on there, we're gonna have to pay for it, so.
I think that's a pretty new wreath that we purchased, or the one that we put out here, perhaps, is the one. It hadn't been bought that many years ago.
No, but the ones that I use now are the one, it's at the Legion all the
Oh, I
time.
see.
It stays there,
Okay.
boxed up. Yeah, there's one for the province, there's one for everyone has their name on it, except ours is a blank one. Okay. Bylaws. We have a bylaw moved and seconded authorizing entering into a subdivision agreement. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then we have a bylaw showing the major changes required by the BAO highlighted in yellow. It's the cemetery bylaw. The resolution's been moved and bylaw has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We have some action items on page 171. We have the rural affordability of water and wastewater systems. I think that you would want to approve that too. It's- That's right. We shall highlight, next meeting, we will have that. And the next one is request to resume the assessment cycle. Cool, so they'll come back to us at the next meeting. For information only is the LRCA annual report, the minister permit and review powers, and the OPG neighborhood newsletter, the update from the DSAB board, and the EMO news and updates. Any comment on any of those items? New business, Councillor Viss?
Pages, and I thought maybe it was going to look long, so I just left them at home. One comment, what a nice road that I road. Okay, we better have the police sitting there and beautiful, nice job, really is. Wow. Well, people should be happy, really.
Well, I think that I think a few more people are going to be using a Town Line or Oliver or Hearthstone, because they're going to be working at that overpass and with the lights, and there's a lot of traffic there. So there's going to be sitting there. People will be using the other roads for a while.
Very nice job. Very good.
Okay. Councillor Calvert?
I've just been talking to Chris earlier about the Merle Hall and the water situation there. He says it's going to be up and running very shortly, so we're good to hear that. Glad to hear that.
Okay. Councillor Kamphoff?
I also had a few people be very positive in comments about the Roslyn Road improvements and improvements in Roslyn area, so.
And Councillor Peacock?
Just one comment with regard to the minutes that we had on May the 29th. Items that were brought forward on page 9, it says administration provided information on the width of the roadway in Roslyn and that Vibert Road speed limit has been reduced from 60 kilometers to 50 from Highway 130 to Riddler and to the tracks. And I couldn't get my bearings as to where that is. I'm just wondering if I'm wrong.
Through the chair, the speed limit was reduced when we expanded the width of the road in 2022 between Highway 130 and Riddler Road on Roslyn proper. 2024, with the addition of the walkways and the paved enhanced paving lane, we are in the process of ordering our 50-kilometer-an-hour signs to go from Roslyn Road north to the tracks. At that point in time, residential development ends.
Yes.
It would maintain the 60 that it currently is.
Okay. That's it. All righty. Okay, so we have a confirmed meeting bylaw. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we now adjourn. We have a resolution adjourning the council meeting, the time being 6:15 p.m. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much.